Hello everybody, this is your market update for September 7th, 2022. I want to start out right away just by thanking you all for being here, for showing me all the support and love over this time period that I've been on YouTube. I hit 1,000 subscribers on Monday night. And right after that, my power went out. So that was really interesting. So there was no time to celebrate, but officially that happened on Monday night. I didn't expect that would happen. That was not even one of my set goals. It was funny because TCG was telling me like whatever months ago, he'll remember, that he's like, what are you going to do for 1,000? And I'm like, I don't expect to be hitting that anytime soon. So I put it off and put it off and put it off. And here we are, and I have no clue what to do with that. But really, again, I want to thank you for being here, for listening to me talk about pricing and nonsense and watching me do fingerprinting of trial decks. It's been an interesting ride, for sure. And I will properly celebrate it sometime in the future. Just not right now. I don't honestly have a clue of what I want to do for it. And no, Mrs. B will not play a game of Weiss Schwarz with me. That is not going to happen. So today, what we're going to cover, outside of me thanking you over and over and over again, is we're going to be talking about the Title Cup. We're going to be talking about promos. We're going to be talking about promos, especially the ones that are given out that shouldn't be sold. Those we're going to be talking about. We're going to be looking at some of the Japanese stuff. We're going to look at some of the English stuff, and finally we're going to conclude by looking at Tokyo Revengers and Rubies. So with that, let's get going. The Title Cup is coming back to the English edition. We had that one for Hololive, but now starting with Quintessential Quintuplets 2, it's going to be appearing for all tournament stores. And the funny part about this one, it says all tournament stores will be able to host Title Cups, which I wonder if that means that there's some leeway where they can do whatever they want with these PR cards. Maybe like sell them. So anybody that wants to participate in this, you're gonna need to use the Quintessential Quintuplets. You have to have them in English only. That's why I've always said I prefer buying English over Japanese, because if you want to participate in tournaments, you need to actually use these English cards. You'll get one Title Cup PR card for participating. Winners get 3 and a special winners card. So this is what the PR card looks like. Again, 1 for participating, 4 for actually winning this. If you do win, you get this card as well, which looks super awesome. Definitely jealous of the people that can play in it and win it. If you're wondering where you can actually go to play it, there is some sort of updated listing down here under the tournament listings. I say somewhat because I feel like there are some shops that are missing as I scroll through here. And, knowing me, again, for the people that are educated out there on this, I didn't really understand the pricings of these entry fees. It seems to me that it's not controlled by Bushiroad. Maybe that's a store kind of choice. But as I scroll through here, there was a 10, there was a 5, and I'm not going to go search for it, but there was one all the way up to $20, which seems kind of a lot for an entry fee for a PR. At that point, I would rather just buy this card than participating in it. Hololive Title Cup PR cards, here you go. They're really expensive. I'm not going to say the Quintessential Quintuplets is going to be as expensive because Quintessential Quintuplets only has these 2 sets of cards, right? Where Hololive had 31 different ones. And because of that, a lot of them are rare and people want them. So you can see the varying degrees of dollar amounts on here. There are some that, like Marine here, $149.99. And then you get all the way down here where some are like $32, $29.98. And that's not awful. Just, that's pretty awesome. For participating in a Title Cup to actually be able to, let's say, fund a deck by getting some of these cards, I think that was pretty crazy. There will be stores, unscrupulously, that are able to host these Title Cups or able to participate in the tournament store PR pack campaign that have chosen the route of not doing the right thing that have gone and sold these cards. So you can see the latest one that came out here was the Quintessential Quintuplets, and they are super expensive. You can see that here. $18.99 on Miku. We got Nino $16.93, Itsuki $11.68, $9.47, $7.95, and then you have the non-holo ones that come in roughly, let's say $3. Let's see if there's shipping. Yeah, so let's say $4 for those. Unfortunately, there have been sellers that have gone out of their way to sell their sealed product and then take these PR packs, and instead of giving out to the people that purchased it, they have been selling it for themselves. I took the time to make a list. I call this the list of Big D. It's in this fancy Staples blue notebook. And these people all did make my list, and I will read them now to you. We're gonna start out with seller number 1. And that is the list. Hopefully Bushiroad can investigate these people and cut them off from selling these PR cards in the future. I think it's great that they're looking to support tournament stores and local LGSs and all that good stuff. It's just a little sad that people are taking advantage of this and reselling it. Attack on Titan is the next one to come out. That is on September 16th. Hololive Booster, Premium Booster, September 30th, which I hear is facing some issues with delivery. Saw that earlier today. I'm not going to do a buy or invest on that. You should pretty much know Hololive if you're going to buy it or not. Those cards are freaking beautiful in that set. It's really cool. We have Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl. We got the reprint of Bunny Girl Senpai. No date listed for that. I mean, we have Overlord that was been in reprint status for like almost an entire year so far. So who knows when those are all going to line up. And then we got Saekano. So I will say right away, I'm going to do a buy or invest video on these 3 coming up. I do love these anime. It's just a shame that there are no actual signatures in it. If you need a refresher on what that is, you see right here, Ariri, there's no signature. There are serial numbers, which is going to be the same for the Dreaming Girl set as well. Then Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I will say this really quickly. If you are holding out to see if the cards are censored or not, you need to make that decision sooner than later, because I don't think Weiss Schwarz is going to tell you. The pre-order cutoff was about a week ago, a little over a week ago, and if you don't have your product secured yet, you may be running into a point where people's product are disappearing, like sellers, and you may not be able to pick some of it up. But hey, what the heck? There's reprints coming, so if you wanted Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid and you don't get it now, as long as you're cool with a silver signature, maybe one day it gets reprinted. So that's always a thing, right? But that is the English side. On the Japanese side, there is some crazy stuff coming. This is Ami, again, where I buy Japanese stuff just because it's super cheap and reliable. So out here on Ami, there was this pre-order for the Sword Art Online Anime 10th Anniversary. You can see that the cases are sold out. But what really stood out to me when I looked at that was this. We have Weiss Schwarz Blau. So I'm transitioning here to Weiss Schwarz Blau. This thing, there has not been any sort of order closed. Maybe Ami just put a bunch out there, or this thing isn't selling as great. You can see all across the board here, there has not been any sort of sellout at all. And you can see this, they sell single trial decks. So you can see that even with Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. single trial order closed. When we take a look at the Weiss Schwarz Blau, there is no sort of sellout at all. So we're going to see how this one goes. I don't know how Weiss Schwarz Blau is going to do. There is a lot of buying because if you didn't see it, I wrote on Twitter how I attempted to buy Licorice Recoil for Rebirth for You. That was gone in under a day. These trial decks were completely gone. Osaka, what we have here, same thing. You can see across the board, order closed, order closed, order closed. This thing is definitely selling. I'm gonna go over the card prices in the future, but if you are looking for Spy Family or My Dress Up Darling coming out in the future, you definitely want to stay on top of the pre-orders because it does actually sell out, as does some of the Rebirth stuff that's very, very popular, like Licorice Recoil. I love that anime. It's so freaking good. Japanese side, so real quick, just going through it. We got cars coming out. Princess Connect Redive Season 2. Quintessential Quintuplets movies, which I haven't seen, and I'm still trying to dodge the cards. But eventually I'm going to look at the cards and do a video on that. But it's going to be upsetting because I really want to watch the movie before I see the cards. Star Wars, Love Live. I tried to buy this Love Live on Ami, but they only offer cases at this point. And I don't really feel like buying off other sets. Pixar characters. I can't wait for that one. September is going to be a loaded month. And if you actually do want to see the cards coming up, we have Overlord first. This is one that I wanted to touch on really quick. We do have these special looking cards. I really love this one, but that thing looks super cool. At first, I will tell you, he was either Grim Reaper when I first saw this, or Batman. I thought I was staring like at a Batman ninja card or something, just because I'm all groggy. I saw it in the morning. You see a dude with a cape and like glowy eyes, and I'm like, that could be Batman. So what I love about this card the most is the signature flows with what's actually happening on the card. I just think, to me, that it just looks super artistic that way. And then you have Albedo over here. I know some people weren't very fascinated with the actual illustrator signature here, just because it's so big across here, where by comparison between the two, that's why I really love the signature. It just flows so much with that card. And then down here, I really do love all these cards. So my favorites would be, I love Demiurge. Just look at him. He's just enjoying his life right there. It's just nothing but fun. And I love Shaltier. Shaltier's great. Scrolling down real quick, I'll go back up, but I saw this Climax card for Shaltier, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. So going back. Yeah, some really, really nice signature cards coming here. I know I'm not going to buy this at all for Japanese, just because more than likely I'm going to put my money down that it's coming to English, so why spend the money on Japanese cards when I can just get the English ones? And I love Nabe too. Nabe's so cool. And it's nice that Kokutis actually gets his own signature card as well. So I don't think he got one last time. So, and we got Ara and Mare here too. So, and then Princess Reconnect, just going quickly through these. I haven't watched season 2. I watched season 1, but what stands out to me from right away is I love all these cards where they give the different characters. These are SSPs, but they give them different colors, right? Like you can see right here, we got green going on. We even had the foil being the green, just not straight up gold, right? So we actually have some coloration in the foil, which is super freaking awesome that they do that. And the SPs, you know, just going back to gold. But that's why SSPs are super nice. And that's why I really like the Attack on Titan 2 with the different color signatures. Really, really cool. So that one is great. I did like season 1. I'm not really sure why I didn't watch season 2. Maybe it just wasn't, I feel like it wasn't announced. I just might have missed it. I might have been out of anime at that time. But here we are. If you actually want to see the rest of the cards, they are out here on the card list on the Japanese website right now. So you can scroll through that. I might make a video with all the different cards on there. Maybe, maybe not. But if I don't, feel free to check that out, or wait a few days, because it's going to be up on every selling website that sells Japanese cards. So lastly, the thing I want to cover is this. We're going to talk about Tokyo Revengers, and we're going to talk about Ruby really quickly, just because we've been having these tournaments, right? We've been having these tournaments, and the dual lane Tokyo Revengers has done good. It hasn't got like first place, but it's done well enough that it keeps showing up. And I know someone was even questioning like the prices on this. Like this Mikey right here, Kids Meal Mikey, $19. My Treasure Baji, $5 just out on the surface, not clicking into it. We have this uncommon 7th Elementary Mikey. We also have Bodyguard Squad Mitsuya. There's cards everywhere, but you know, like just looking at TCG Player really quick, $5, $2.97. They're like, what's the deal with these cards? How come they're so expensive? It's because they're used in the deck. People thought this is some people thought this was all just fake, and people are buying it up, trying to like control the prices. Really, it's because all the play that's been seen in these actual tournaments. It's no surprise that people want to try out different decks and not just straight up use all the same like Mushoku Tensei for months and months and months to play against, to play with. So having this other option is nice, though I did watch that video from Dean. He was saying that it's not the healthiest of decks out there in the world to have in sort of the meta out there. So people have their opinions on it, so you can check that out. It's on Burn One's channel about how to counter this spooky deck, as I think he titled it that way. I enjoyed that. That was a fun video. So right here, my thing with this is if you believe these prices are true, that they will hold any sort of reality, that they can continue at these numbers, then this is still my biggest giveaway, right? If that's actually true or not, because you have these boxes at $45.80. You could say maybe they're mapped or dead boxes. You could say that these are sellers just trying to get rid of their boxes at any cost. It could be either one. My thing is, these cards are rares and these cards are uncommon. If you do the math on it and figure out the expected value, because you're not always going to get a rare, like one of these rares, inside of a booster box. But if you looked at the expected value, if you do some math on it, and if you can buy from a buyer or from a seller that is not mapping these boxes or selling dead boxes, then you have a fairly good chance of making money by opening these boxes, if you believe these prices are true. I will say the same thing about Ruby here, because Ruby has some showings inside of the tournaments as well. So that's why you see this has slowly been picking away to the point where there was none left just about a few days ago. And then some are starting to show up again. So you have 18 on Pyrrha. We have Ruby Rose at $21. That's pretty insane. $21. This card was $5 at one point, right? You can see that here. $5, $6, $5. This card was all the way down there, but with the tournament play picking up and all that, and you know, just this coming out, I believe it was December of last year, right? So there wasn't as much to go around, and you can see like we have Weiss. She's 40 listings, Ruby 1, Pyrrha 2. So this goes back to show the playability of these cards. And knowing that you do get five double rares, and you might not get these two in the box, but doing the expected value on it, is that worth the gamble of $55.99? That's the real question. Is that worth actually doing? I think it's one of those ones where this is what I always talked about in my buy or invest, and I've just seen it more and more lately, just because of that Rudy Alpha Investment video that we saw the other day about how people are saying play sets are like garbage now, pricing like Quintessential Quintuplets. I think it was like $135 is what someone said as a play set of Quintessential Quintuplets. Do you think that those double rare numbers hold for Quintessential Quintuplets, knowing that now it is legal for tournament play? If I saw correctly, Quintessential Quintuplets did pull in a first place. If Ruby, Tokyo Revengers, Mushoku Tensei all have strong showings and their double rares disappear, or whatever cards that they need. So with Tokyo Revengers rares and uncommons, you might use some trial decks, you might use a double rare. But if they have strong showings, what do you think happens to once all these cards run out and you have boxes that are $56, you have boxes that are $45.80? People are forced to open it, which eventually is going to lead to the product running out. And that's the whole point. You want if you're going to invest in this stuff, you're going to want to do it long term, but at the same time, you're going to want to pick out ones that are actually usable, not just stuff that is pretty or have collector implications, as we have with Rascal set, right? Saekano without a set 2 is going to be pretty bad. So that is where we are. Oh, and by the way, Mushoku Tensei, if you haven't seen, $88 on Mushoku Tensei Hololive, and I'm bringing these up because you could see what happens when something is popular and playable, and that is what Mushoku Tensei and Hololive actually is, right? So we have this here. We had Hololive everybody, and everybody was super, not everybody, a good number of people were negative on Hololive. I've always said it's going to be fine. You got a whole lot of VTubers that people love, and you have a set that's pretty strong, and you have a price of a booster box at $78.95 with 13 listings on TCG Player. I know, again, that there's always people that have a closet full of this stuff, but when you think about Hololive and how much was actually sold, and you just scroll through this list, 222, 26, 2241, in reality, there's not a whole lot of this stuff left. It's actually a lot lower than what people think. So just be careful. If you want some of this stuff, if your set that you want is highly playable, then you can't just wait forever to buy it. You need to buy it at some point, and I would say you should buy it before a tournament actually takes place, when people start noticing how some of these cards are actually put together. Or, well, I mean, in the case of this one, you know, people figured this out, so it kind of just happened, right? Where it was proven in it was proven in a tournament, and that's when it started popping off. But before that, okay, you got me there. But when it comes to Ruby, we knew that it did see tournament play. We saw that with Springfest, so that was something that was always going to happen, where these cards were just going to disappear. So keep that in mind out there for future sets. With the next ones coming up, though, shouldn't be too much of a problem there, right? Because I don't know too many people that are going to say, I mean, Attack on Titan helps. It's not like this one alone is going to be amazing, but Hololive Premium, that's just going to be good on its own. This isn't going to do much. This one's not going to do much without a second. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon, not going to do much. And then 7 Deadly Sins, you can only speculate at this time. So if you like the 7 Deadly Sins, if you think this is going to be a good set, maybe you buy some cards now ahead of the releases. All right, so as always, thank you for the 1,000. I will properly celebrate it someday into the future, of which I do not know yet. But as always, have fun, be happy, don't set anything outside of your budget. Have a good one.